A few weeks ago, I had a privilege of actually getting out of my house, going to the cinemas and picking a movie. And fortunately for me, I picked the movie Top Gun. And while it's not really the kind of movie that I'm into, I was thrilled because as I continued watching it, I started picking out lessons. You know, every time I'm watching or reading a book or watching a movie, I'm always looking out for what lessons am I learning from this video or from this book that I'm reading. As I started watching Top Gun, I started getting certain lessons that I've learned about in terms of planning. And so I wanted us to look at the movie Top Gun Maverick and what lessons it teaches us when it comes to planning in your business. Let's get started. Hello there, entrepreneurs, and welcome to another episode of the Ndalama Insights Business Show. If you've not subscribed already, subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button. It's right here. And also remember to smash the like button so that you can be reminded every time I have a YouTube video out. Now, have you watched the movie Top Gun Maverick, starring Tom Cruise? Well, I had a chance of watching this movie a few weeks ago. And I would like to share with you the lessons that I got from watching this movie. You may already know the plot. Some nameless state has built a uranium enrichment plant in some deep valley surrounded by mountains. The US, as always, has to destroy this uranium enrichment plant before the uranium can arrive. So they bring in Maverick, who's Tom Cruise, to create a plan and to train the pilots that are going to implement this plan. The first lesson that I get is just by the person that they've introduced to create this plan and to train the pilots. In this mission, Maverick, who's a very experienced pilot, has been brought to lead the planning and the training of these young pilots. Maverick comes with extensive experience, having driven pilot planes and tested them out during their research and development missions. And so is a very experienced leader who's been tasked to create a plan and also to train these young pilots to deliver this Top Gun mission. And so the first lesson we are getting is that the leader who's in charge of planning must be experienced, especially in the task that they are about to undertake. If they are not experienced in that exact task, then you do need to consider the risks and take into account, those risks of inexperience. So the first lesson I got is that the leader has to be experienced in implementing the plan or in planning this mission. They must have some kind of experience to ensure that this mission actually succeeds. The second lesson I got is that you need to have a clear plan and mission. The mission in Top Gun is very clear. They need to destroy this uranium enrichment plant before the uranium arrives. And this mission is not just one big block of a mission. They've actually broken it down into small pieces and stages. If you've watched this movie, you're going to see the exact detail that this team goes into when it comes to planning how they are going to go into the deep valley, into the mountains, how they are going to, swamp the flying missiles, what exactly they should do and at what speed they should drive their planes. The pilots only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to destroy this uranium enrichment plant. So the lesson I got is that it's no use to have this mission without specific objectives and tasks. You need to go into the details and actually develop, the task stage by stage. They were so specific such that they knew they had to drop 4 bombs. The first team was to drop the 2 bombs, then the next team was going to drop the next 2 bombs. And so you need to be clear with exactly how you are going to implement this plan. And it also reminds me of, plans must be specific, they must be time bound, they must be smart. Considering that this mission must be achieved in 2 minutes 30 seconds shows you that planning has to be time bound, it has to be specific. And this is a big lesson that I get from just the exact mission that they have to go into to destroy this uranium enrichment plant. Now, this task is extremely complicated. If you've watched the movie, you actually see. And at first, nobody believes that this can be done until Maverick shows them that it can actually be done. The lesson I get from this is sometimes as a leader, when you create a plan, people are actually a bit skeptical. They don't trust that the plan can be implemented or can be carried out successfully. And so as a leader, you have to step in and demonstrate and show your team that the plan is actually actionable and it can be delivered. And this is what Maverick did really well. He drove this plane and showed them how the plan was going to be done, how the mission was going to be accomplished. And so as a leader, the lesson I get is sometimes your plans might be questioned, but it is your responsibility to actually demonstrate that the plan is attainable, it is actionable. Now, the second lesson I get from the detail of their planning sessions in terms of how they were going to go into the valley of the mountains and how they were going to swap all these missiles that are going to be thrown their way by the enemy is that you need to go into the detail. The team went into the details and actually studied the enemy valley and the mountainous region where this uranium enrichment plant was situated. So as a team that is planning a mission, you need to study your competitors in detail. You need to know everything about your competitor. That way you stand a better chance of beating your competition and maybe even destroying the competition completely or leaving them far behind you. So when you are creating a plan, always study the competitors as well. Get to know them in detail. Now, the team also thought about the risks and the equipment that they needed in order for them to accomplish this mission. They were flying planes, that is FA-18 planes. These are quite old planes, and they needed to use these planes in order for them to accomplish this mission. So, as a leader, what tools and equipments do your team need for them to accomplish this mission successfully? Provide them with those tools and equipments so that they have no reason, other than to work on the mission and accomplish the objective that you've set out in your plan. Now, here comes the twist. Maverick and his hangman are shot down and they find themselves in the enemy territory. They have to figure out a way to get out. The sixth lesson I get from this is that planning is not an exact science. Sometimes things do not go according to plan. You may find yourself being shot down by the enemy and find yourself in their territory. So the actual implementation requires you to be agile. You need to be quick to adapt to the changes that you might not even have thought about when you are actually doing the planning. And this is why you actually draw from your experience and simple, basic logic. As Maverick and his hangman approach the enemy base, they see an old plane. It's an FA-14. It's older than the plane they were flying. But Maverick, having had the experience, gets on this plane and managed to, escape all the missiles that are thrown at them and eventually escape to safety. So the lesson I get from here is, when something wasn't in the plan, you have to be agile enough to, think outside the box, use whatever tools are available to get the mission accomplished. This is what Tom Cruise and his hangman did. They used whatever tool was available, as old as it was. In fact, when his partner saw the old plane, this young man, he was shocked. He was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to fly this old thing against, these missiles and these new high-tech planes that are, flying across this mountainous region? How are we going to get through this? But with experience, Maverick, Tom Cruise, was able to actually, manage to get this team out into safety, and that's how they managed to accomplish this mission without anybody dying. And something interesting is that Maverick actually noted that you don't have time to think when you're up there. If you think, you are dead, meaning that you have to be agile, you have to be quick to take the action even if it wasn't planned for. Lesson 7, it's the pilot, not the plane. This is the final lesson that I got by watching Top Gun Maverick. This saying was said more than 3 times throughout this movie. And the lesson that it has for all of us is that the plan can be as perfect as you want, but it is actually in the implementation that it matters. It's not really about the plan. It's about who is implementing this plan. That is what matters. In other words, for me, what I got, or how I can translate this, is that it's not the plan, is okay, but the implementation, the person who's implementing this plan, that really matters. And this is a great lesson to all of us as entrepreneurs. You might have a perfect plan and put it under the cabinet, put it under the drawers, and you never even look at it. So it's not the plan, but the implementation and who is actually implementing it that really matters. Well, these are the lessons that I got by watching Top Gun Maverick. I hope you find time to actually go and watch this movie. It's still showing in the cinemas, so find time this weekend to go and watch it, and let's see if you can actually pick out these lessons that I got. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've subscribed already, a million thank yous to you for subscribing to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe by clicking this icon over here, and also remember to smash the like button so that you can be reminded whenever I have a YouTube video out. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.